Welcome back to Only Talk Sports. We talk sports every single day, or at least we try to. I'm Ernst Jeffrey. Subscribe to the channel if you like sports content. Hit that notification bell so you never miss our video. The final week of the NFL regular season is here. Earlier this week, I did a video talking about how likely I thought that it would be for every single NFL team to make the playoffs. And now I'm going to be doing my preview and predictions for every single one of these games. Now that more information has come out, we know which quarterbacks are playing and which ones are not, which is definitely going to impact who wins and loses these games. But let's get into it. It's going to be an awesome week of NFL action and seeing which teams do make the playoffs based on who wins or loses. Now, to start out, we got a Saturday doubleheader, and it's the Pittsburgh Steelers traveling to the Baltimore Ravens. In the season Baltimore's had, they're 13-3. You would think that they would have this in the bag and be able to easily beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. But if you look at the betting odds, the Steelers are favored by 4, and that is because of the fact that Lamar Jackson is not playing in this game. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, they need to win this game to make the playoffs. And Mason Rudolph's the new quarterback. Their offense is looking a whole lot better with him out there than it was with Kenny Pickett and when they had Mitch Trubisky. I think the Steelers are going to go on the road and knock off the Baltimore Ravens 28-21, and it will definitely help the Steelers out with a win to possibly make the playoffs. But if the Ravens had Lamar Jackson, I would have gone with Baltimore. Then you've got on Saturday Night Football in the NFL. Two teams in the AFC, they need a win to make the NFL playoffs. It's the Houston Texans. They're traveling to the Indianapolis Colts. Both of these teams are 9-7. And Houston, they've been playing very good football toward the end of the season. When C.J. Stroud's been in, when he had that injury, the Houston Texans were struggling. But when C.J.'s been in, they've been able to win games. Gardner Minshew's been doing a good job at the Indianapolis Colts as well. Both these teams have been up and down. That's why they are 9-7. They're not perfect teams, and it is at Indianapolis. But since both of these teams need a win to make the playoffs, you know they're both going to play hard. The Texans are favored by 1.5. I think C.J. Stroud's been on a mission all year. I think he's going to find a way to knock off the Indianapolis Colts 24-20 to help possibly propel the Texans into the NFL playoffs. Then to move on to the Sunday games, you got the Cleveland Browns traveling to the Cincinnati Bengals. The Cleveland Browns have been the surprise of the NFL this season. They're 11-5. Joe Flacco's done a fantastic job leading the Browns in the last few games, but he's not going to be playing. Since the Browns are already in the playoffs, they've decided to sit him, and as you can see, the Bengals are favored by a hefty 7 points. Unfortunately, it's not going to matter for the Bengals, though, because of the fact that they are not going to be able to make the playoffs no matter what. They are eliminated from the playoffs, but because they are rivals with the Browns and Cleveland has a lot of guys not playing, I do believe that the Bengals will knock off the Browns 24-17 for Cincinnati to end their year at a disappointing 9-8, but still with a winning record. Then you got the Minnesota Vikings traveling to the Detroit Lions. Dan Campbell has said that Jared Goff is playing, so that means that the Detroit Lions have a massive advantage here over the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings, they blew their playoff chances big time last week when they lost to the Green Bay Packers. They're still technically alive for the playoffs, but a lot of things would have to go their way, and their chances are very slim. Because the Lions are playing Goff and they are favored by 3.5 and they're at home, I do think the Detroit Lions will knock off the Minnesota Vikings 27-17. Minnesota's going to play hard, but even though Nick Mullins presumably will be the starting quarterback for the Vikings, I just don't know if they're going to be able to get it done, and they're probably going to fall short of making the NFL playoffs. Up next, you got the Jacksonville Jaguars traveling to the Tennessee Titans. Jacksonville's 9-7. They've had a disappointing year compared to how a lot of people thought the Jags were going to do, but Trevor Lawrence's injury is very key in this game, and it looks like he's going to try to play. The Titans are 5-11, and they have been really struggling this season. They've had quarterback issues with Will Levis and Ryan Tannehill. Neither have really been able to get going, despite Will Levis doing a bit better of a job. Even if Trevor Lawrence can't play and it's C.J. Beathard at QB, I think the Jags are going to be able to win 24-14 over the Tennessee Titans. The Jaguars are favored by 3.5, and I think they're going to do everything in their power to possibly be able to get into the NFL playoffs with a win over the Tennessee Titans. Then you got the New York Jets traveling to the New England Patriots. Both of these teams are eliminated, so this game doesn't really matter for either team, but I guess it would be big to end their season in the right way, especially for the Patriots, with it being Bill Belichick's last game that he will ever coach at the Patriots. So it's kind of sad they're an end of an era. So you would believe that the Patriots would play hard to be able to try to send Belichick out the right way with the win. And they are favored by 1.5 over the Jets. But New York has looked a little bit better this year. They're 6-10 and the Patriots are 4-12. I actually think that the Jets are going to be able to spoil the New New England Patriots send-off of Bill Belichick and knock them off 17-14. But that would be very tough for Bill Belichick to end his career that way. It'd be awesome for him to win, but I think the Jets are going to get it done. Then you got the Atlanta Falcons traveling to the New Orleans Saints, and this game is very important for both of these teams. Atlanta's 7-9, and the New Orleans Saints are 8-8, and both of these teams, they can still make the NFL playoffs with a win and some help. But New Orleans, they have an advantage because they are at home. Derek Carr, he's been in and out of the lineup this season, but he's back healthy right now. They're favored by 3. The Falcons have had issues with Taylor Heinicke now at quarterback, replacing Desmond Ridder, who also struggled. Atlanta has a good defense. They have some playmakers, but because it's at New Orleans and the fact Derek Carr is healthy and playing, I think that the Saints are going to be able to win this game and keep their NFL playoff chances alive with a 21-17 win over the Atlanta Falcons to officially eliminate Atlanta from the NFL playoffs. Then you have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveling to the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers have been abysmal this season, going 2-14. Bryce Young has not been able to get anything going in his rookie year. They fired Frank Reich. It's been a mess, but Tampa Bay, they're 8-8, and the Bucs, they have a prime opportunity here to make the playoffs. You beat the Panthers and you are in. And Carolina, they're not the most formidable opponent in the world, and that is why the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are favored by 4.5. It is on the road, so they cannot slouch up against the Panthers. And the fact Baker Mayfield has been banged up. He got hurt in the ribs last week. He says he's going to do everything he can to play. Even if he's not 100%, I do believe that the Bucs will be able to knock off the Panthers 21-14 for the Tampa Bay Bucs to make the playoffs. Then you got the Chicago Bears, who are officially eliminated from the playoffs already at 7-9 because the Packers and Vikings didn't tie last week. They're going on the road to face the Green Bay Packers, who are 8-8, and they are still alive for the NFL playoffs, but they need some things to go their way. If you look at the betting odds, the Packers are favored by 3. If the Bears were still alive for the playoffs, then they probably would have a better chance to win in the eyes of most people. But Justin Fields, he's auditioning for his starting job possibly next season. He's been playing very well the past few weeks. The Bears have been playing some of their best football in a couple of years, but Green Bay being at home and the fact that they need a win for the playoffs, Jordan Love seems determined to get it done. They played great against the Vikings last week, blitzing them. I think that Green Bay will knock off the Bears 24-21 to help keep the Packers alive for the playoffs. This should be a solid game. Then you got the Denver Broncos traveling to the Las Vegas Raiders. The Broncos, you got the messy situation with Russell Wilson. Jarrett Stidham's come in. He played all right last week against the Los Angeles Chargers. Nothing special, but the Broncos were able to win to stay alive for the playoffs. The Raiders are 7-9. They are eliminated from the playoffs, but the Raiders have looked a lot better lately. Aiden O'Connell, he's auditioning for a starting job next year, just like Justin Fields. He's going to do everything he possibly can to play well, to possibly be able to keep his job for next year. The Raiders are favored by 2.5. They are at home. Since the Broncos have been a mess with this situation and they are on the fringes of the playoff, they have a shot to get in with a win, but I don't think they're going to get it done. I'm going to go with the Las Vegas Raiders to knock off the Denver Broncos 21-14 for the Raiders to end their season at 8-9 and to eliminate the Broncos' playoff chances. Then you got the Philadelphia Eagles traveling to the New York Giants. Jalen Hurts is going to play for the Eagles because they are fighting for a better seed in the NFL playoffs. The Giants, they have really struggled this year. They are 5-11 on the season, but Tyrod Taylor, he's back, and when he's been in, he has helped the Giants offense perform better than they have with Tommy DeVito and Daniel Jones when they were at the starting quarterback spot. If you look at the way the Giants played against the Eagles recently, they almost won that game, but Philadelphia, something's going on with them. They have not been playing as well lately. I don't know if it's because Hurts is not 100% healthy, but it definitely could have something to do with it. The Eagles are favored by 5.5, so people still believe the Eagles are going to win. I think they're going to struggle in this game because they haven't been playing as well lately. Tyrod Taylor's going to give them a game, but I do believe that the Eagles will knock off the Giants 24-17 for Philadelphia to end their season at 12-5. Then you got the Seattle Seahawks traveling to the Arizona Cardinals. Seattle's 8-8. They're on the fringes of the playoffs. Arizona's 4-12. But Kyler Murray, he has helped Arizona's offense. They've been playing a little bit better football lately. If you look at the betting odds, the Seahawks are only favored by 2.5. So a lot of people believe that the Cardinals do have a shot in this game. But Seattle, since their playoff chances are on the line and they have a talented offense, I think Geno Smith's going to help lead the Seahawks to victory 21-20 over the Arizona Arizona Cardinals. It's going to be a close game. I think Arizona is going to try to play spoiler, but the Seattle Seahawks with Pete Carroll, they're going to find a way to stay alive for the NFL playoffs. Then you got the Kansas City Chiefs traveling to the Los Angeles Chargers. Patrick Mahomes is not playing in this game, so that definitely hurts the Chiefs' chances to win, but it's the Chargers that they're playing against. Los Angeles hasn't been able to win anything lately, and with Easton Stick at quarterback, he has not been able to replicate what Justin Herbert did, even though the Chargers weren't winning games anyway. It's going to make it tough for the Chargers to win. Los Angeles is favored by 3.5 over the Chiefs, and I understand why, because Patrick Mahomes and a lot of other players aren't playing, but I'm still going to go with Kansas City to beat the Los Angeles Chargers 17-14. I just have a hard time believing that the Chargers are actually going to be able to win with how poor that they've been playing lately. Then you got the Los Angeles Rams traveling to the San Francisco 49ers. In this game, we've got a double opt-out. Matthew Stafford's not playing for the Rams, and Brock Purdy's not playing for the 49ers. But this game still is on the road at the 49ers. That's going to make it very tough on the Rams to be able to win. The betting odds reflect that, with the 49ers still favored by 4 points over the Rams. If Stafford was playing, I'm sure the Rams would either be favored or it would be around an even game. I'll go with San Francisco to beat the Rams 24-20, but this game isn't super consequential for either team because both teams are going to make the playoffs. In the penultimate game in the NFL regular season, you got the Dallas Cowboys traveling to the Washington Commanders. Just like with Jalen Hurts, because Dallas is playing for seeding, Dak Prescott is going to play in this game. So that's going to help out the Cowboys' chances to win, and they are favored by the biggest spread of any other team in the NFL this week. They're favored by 13.5 points. The Commanders have collapsed this season. Sam Howell, he's been struggling. A lot of people think the Commanders are going to draft a quarterback. Definitely would make sense for them to at least give competition for Sam Howell, but there's a good shot that he does get benched next season. But Dallas, they have a lot to play for still with seeding. I think Dak Prescott's going to ball out against the Commanders' defense. Has played awful lately. I think Dallas is going to get their 12th win of the year and win 28-13 over the Washington Commanders to push Washington down to 4-13 on the season. And then in the final game of the NFL regular season in Week 18, we've got potentially a thriller with the Buffalo Bills traveling to the Miami Dolphins, and Tua Tagovailoa and Josh Allen are both going to be playing in this game. And if you look at the betting odds, they actually have the Buffalo Bills favored by 3 points. The Bills have been surging. Miami's been struggling lately. Miami played awful last week against the Baltimore Ravens. They're still 11-5 on the year, but Miami has struggled against most of the best teams that they played on their schedule. They've beaten up on the poor teams in the NFL. Miami is a really talented team, but Buffalo's surging. And the fact that the Bills have not clinched a playoff spot, and if they lose this game, if things break the wrong way, Buffalo could still miss the NFL playoffs. I think Josh Allen's going to ball out, and the Bills are going to do everything they possibly can to win this game. I'm going to go with Buffalo to knock off the Miami Dolphins on the road, 27-24 for the Bills to officially clinch a playoff spot, for Miami to continue to struggle against winning teams. But those are the Week 18 games in the NFL. We've got some really solid matchups, a lot of opt-out players, guys not playing, which is smart because you don't want to get injured before the NFL playoffs, especially guys like Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes. Makes total sense, but it's going to be really interesting to see what happens in the final week of the regular season in the NFL, to see which teams win their way to the playoffs and which teams lose their way out. It's going to be a lot of drama, and can't wait to see what happens. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below about my picks for every single Week 18 game in the NFL, and which teams you think are going to win every single game in the final week of the regular season in the NFL, and which game you're looking forward to the most. Subscribe to the channel if you like sports content. Like this video down below. Follow me on Twitter as well. Link is in the description, and I'll see you next time.